Hi, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. We're in the midst of a cold snap, and all I can think about is staying warm. And what a better way to do that than with a mug of hot chocolate. And while you're at it, why not consider creating a hot chocolate mug rug in Electric Quilt? This will be a great opportunity to get introduced to using the custom set quilt layout in EQ8. Okay, we're going to start by opening Electric Quilt, and on the home page I'm going to select New Project, and I'm going to label this Hot Chocolate Mug Rug. And I'm going to select OK. And I'm going to start by going and viewing my project sketchbook. And I'm going to go to the Fabrics tab, and I'm going to select Clear. And now I'm going to go ahead and import some fabrics. And I downloaded a collection earlier today, and I've got it in my downloads. So I'm going to do an import from image files. And I'm going to go to Serendipity, which was the collection I decided to use. And I'm going to select the first item, do the Control or Command plus A to select them all, select Open, and then I'm going to select all of these fabrics and I'm going to add them to my sketchbook, and I'm going to close. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my home screen, and I am going to design a block from scratch. And I'm going to start with a really simple one, which is basically going to be a 6x6 grid. And so I'm going to just use a new block, Pieced, Easy Draw. I'm going to select the grid tool and change the number of columns to 6 and the number of rows to 6. And then I'm just going to drag that grid from the 0, 0 mark to the 6, 6 mark. So very fast way to create a simple block. And because I am dragging from the upper left to the lower right, it doesn't really matter what my snap settings are at for this particular item. So now I'm going to go to my Color tab, and I'm going to color this with my fabrics. And once I've got them colored, I'm going to go ahead and add that to my project sketchbook. Now for my mug rug, I'm also going to incorporate an applique motif. And so I'm going to go back to the home. I'm going to do a search for block patterns. Now the blocks that I wanted to incorporate I found in the EQ block book, so I know the names, which is going to make it really fast to find them. So I'm going to do a search by note card, and the first thing I'm going to do is put in snowflake and do search. And I'm going to scroll over, and I'm going to take this one, Snowflake 2, and I'm going to add that to my sketchbook. And then I'm going to do a search by note card for hot chocolate. And I'll click on search. And this has one item. And I'm going to click on that one, and since that's the one I want to work on to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and edit this to the block work table. And I want to get rid of the background block. So I'm first of all just going to go to the applique section, and I'm going to delete the extra stuff I don't need. So I'm going to use my pick tool, select the those little bursts of steam and get rid of those. And then with my pick tool, I'm going to drag a box over the decoration on the mug. and I need to make sure that I completely enclose all of those pieces, and then I can select the delete key. I could have also used the delete key on my keyboard. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take everything that's left. So again, I can use my pick tool, drag a box, and I'm going to copy that and then paste it in a new block. Now I can use under Edit the copy followed by the paste. So notice that there are hotkeys associated with that. So that would be the Control plus the C key if you're on a PC, or the Command plus the C key if you are on the Mac. And then for the paste, it's Control or Command plus V. So I'm going to do the copy, and I'm going to do a new block, and because I don't want a background for this, I'm going to select Applique Motif. And I really don't need to save this, so I'm just going to say no. And now I need to click on my workspace and do the Edit Paste. And I'm going to go ahead and center that in the block. And I think I want to make that a little bit bigger, so I'm going to do a resize, and let's go ahead and put in 130% for the horizontal and vertical, and I'll say OK. And that fills it nicely. So now I'm going to go ahead and add that to my sketchbook. Now I am going to view my sketchbook, and I'm going to find the snowflake, edit that, and again, I really just want the snowflake part of it. I don't really want the background. So I'm going to go to the Applique tab, use my pick tool. It's just one item. I can click on it to select it, do an edit copy, and now view my sketchbook. Go to my motifs, take that one I just created and select edit. And I can do an edit paste. Now that's a little large, right? So I can go ahead and do a resize on that, and let's bring that down by 80% and select OK. And I think that looks pretty good. So now I have a snowflake decorating my mug. So I can go to the Color tab and I can color it. So once that looks good, I can add that to my sketchbook. And now I'm ready to design my quilt. So I'm going to go to the Quilt work table, or I could go home and click on Design a Quilt from Scratch. Now what I'm going to do is select New Quilt, and I'm going to go to Custom Set. Now the custom set allows me to have, basically free form in where I place everything. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all go to the Border tab and delete the borders. And then I'm going to go to the Layout tab, and I know that I want the height to be 6 inches because that was going to be my 6-inch block. In terms of the width, I know it's going to be 6 inches plus. I'm just going to bring that up to 10 inches. And now I'm going to go to the Design tab, and for Layer 1, I'm going to go ahead and select that grid block and drag that on the workspace. Now if I go to the Adjust tool and click on my block, I can adjust this block width and height. Now I happen to like the 6 by 6, but what I want to do is go to that Quilt Grid Setup, and there are 3 items in terms of grid snap options. The first is to show the grid, the second is to snap the block position to the grid, and the third is to snap the block size to the grid. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep all of those on. I'm going to, though, change the grid snap increments to every 1 inch. So this is going to give me the ability to basically drag this close to where I want and allow it to snap in place. So I'm going to put this on the right side of my quilt, and then I want to overlay my hot chocolate mug on the left side. Now for that, since it's a motif, I need to go to layer 2. And I'm going to do the set block. I'm going to go to my motifs, and I'm going to take my block and I'm going to drag it on my workspace. And again, I'm going to use my adjust tool, and it's too small, right? It doesn't quite fit. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and resize it. So I'm going to try using an 8 by 8. And again, it's a little bit, guessing at this point. But now I think that actually looks, maybe it's a little large. And oh, it's snapping, and I don't want that to snap. So I'm going to turn off snap block position to grid. And I'm going to go ahead and it looked a little big, so I'm going to try 7.5 and see what happens. And I did actually say preserve aspect ratio, so let me go ahead and reposition. That's a little small, so let me, you know what, I'm going to just go up to 7 3/4. And let me do a fit to work table so we can see what that looks like. And I think that looks good. I am going to also turn off the show grid so I have a nice looking mug rug. I can also turn off hide show quilt patch lines. And so once I've got that done, I'm going to add that to the project sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. Would you like to learn more? Please consider enrolling in one of my classes to unleash the power of electric quilt the easy peasy way. You can learn more on my website at www.onpointquilter.com.